What inspired you to become a rabbi?
Perfect. Sure. So when I went through college and my studies, I had no idea what I wanted to be. I studied dance and psychology and community action and public policy. And by the time I graduated, I really didn't know what I wanted to do. And I found myself, though, back at a sleepaway camp that I had gone to forever, URJ, Eisner Camp, a Reformed Jewish sleepaway camp that was really the place I felt most me. And my supervisor that year was a rabbinical student, and she started taking me through her process of becoming a rabbi. And I realized that it was how I could do everything I wanted to do. At the time, I had studied psychology because I liked people. Psychologists out there, well done. It turns out that a lot of the time you're with like data and numbers. I didn't want to do that. And then for my public policy and community action, I realized that every activist event I went to, every rally I went to, clergy were there. I thought it was just because they were good people. For the most part, they are, but actually it's because that's part of our job, is to know what our moral compass is telling us to do, and then to get our people activated and ready to go and champion that cause. And I realized that I got to do all of that with like Jewish text and ritual as the Play-Doh to do it with, and that just felt really fun to me. So no looking back after that.
Cool. Thank you. Okay. All right, so turning to Rosh Hashanah.
Sure.
What is it called when we throw the bread in the water?
Mm-hmm.
It's called tashlich. Yep. Tell us more about this custom or law and when we can do this with WHC.
Beautiful. Yeah. So I love this ritual. This ritual is called tashlich, which literally means to send away. And it actually comes from, in the Torah, really weird, where we would put our sins on a goat and let the goat out into the wilderness and be like, goat, don't come back with my sins. Like, you go and be well. And so instead of, if you have a goat, you can feel free. But instead of that, we take some bread and we go to a stream. It has to be a stream with movement and like a body of water with movement. And we take some bread and think about what we want to rid ourselves of this year. Maybe some of the miss the mark moments that we've had this year, and we throw them into the stream. There's a few psalms that we sing if you want to during it, or you can just think about that. There's no actual laws about like what blessing, like there's, I don't even know if there's not a blessing. Yeah, there's no blessing you say. You just think about it and do it. And we don't have a Washington Hebrew tashlich anymore. We used to, not that many people came. It has waxed and waned.
Well, and there's a whole park service thing.
Yes, there's a whole park service thing with the stream outside where we're not allowed to throw bread in anymore.
Can't do it anymore.
So if anyone has an in on the park service, then let us know.
But you don't need us for it.
You don't. There's really wonderful places. Actually, one year my family went, you know, the candy cane playground. Anyone with young kids knows it. And there's a stream right there that has a perfect bridge. It's like a perfect tashlich bridge. So I would recommend the candy cane playground.
Yeah, or the Potomac.
Yeah.
All right. Continuing on the theme of the new year, what are you reflecting on for the coming year?
Like, I don't know if this is like personal or world or.
I say however you want to interpret.
However I want to interpret it. Okay, fair enough.
What are you reflecting on for the coming year?
That's like really broad. What are you reflecting on in the coming year, Cantor?
Whoa, way to turn the tables. So I am hoping that our society can relearn how to be civil
Amen.
To each other, treat each other with dignity and respect, and that if the people we look up to or are supposed to look up to don't provide that example, then we need to do it.
Nice, beautiful.
Yeah,
beautiful.
Thanks.
I will double down on that, and also. A recommitment to finding joy and gratitude. I want to be able to be happy at the end of the day. I want you to be able to be happy at the end of the day, even when it feels like there's so much chaos. So.
Lovely. Okay. This might be a little difficult, so we're going to go for it. Okay.
I like that.
As a new member of the tribe, I am struggling to understand the concept of chosen people. Can you please illuminate this concept?
Absolutely.
And it says thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. So I grew up in a Reconstructionist community. So I did not grow up Reform. And in a Reconstructionist community, One of like the only staple kind of one of the things we believe is that we don't believe in chosenness as a concept. Reconstructionist Jews feel that actually the words I heard growing up were pretty harsh. Like it's ethnocentric and it is even racist and things like that. And I can see how we can get there, and sometimes I feel that way too. And everyone's looking at me like, whoa. And I think some of the teachings that I have really loved that have helped turn this around is like, what are we chosen for, right? If you think about your own life and what you might be chosen for, I do believe I was chosen to be a rabbi. I do. I don't know, like that's not, I don't think that makes me better than anyone else in the room who's not one. It's just that I was chosen for that specifically. And that was a little bit of something out there and a lot of me, right? So it's a lot of what we're chosen to do and the responsibilities that are upon us because we're actually choosing it, right? Like we're the ones who are actively choosing Judaism. And when I say choosing Judaism, they said like a new member of the tribe, they chose Judaism, but actually each one of you chose Judaism this evening, right? We are actively choosing Judaism every single day that we are practicing, living our values, wearing a Magen David, keeping kosher, whatever it is that you do to live out your Judaism, you're actively choosing that every day. And I think that's what it means to be the chosen people.
Beautiful. This might be a little difficult. And I think a lot of people might be needing the answer to this. So how do you handle it when someone shares with you an opinion or viewpoint that you do not agree with and they want your opinion or your advice?
Absolutely. Most people, most of the time, when they are coming to a clergy person and saying, I want to talk to you about this, 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 and this, what they're really saying is, I am really hurting, and I want you to hear why. Almost always. If someone comes to me saying, like, do you have a book about grief? I could give them a book about grief, but they really want to talk to me about their grief. And that's the same for what's going on in our world. And I am so grateful that we have such a diverse community with diverse views and diverse political views. I don't think I hide mine very well, nor do I try to be honest. I just don't think that wouldn't be authentic to me. And I would hope that you feel like that you're actually taking that as an example, that means you can be authentic with me. I want to know what's hurting you. I want to know what feels painful for you. I also want to know what gives you joy and happiness and all those things as well. But really, I don't actually find it difficult when I hear something I disagree with within these walls and within this community, because I feel like I sound like a martyr, but I don't. Like I value our community more than that view. And I want to be able to be there for our congregation and to model a little bit of that civility that we want to see in the world. I might fight back, or not fight back. I might share also how the view hurts me, and I would hope that would be taken with the same amount of respect.
Thank you. What do you think Jewish culture will look like in 50 years?
Sure. So I am very hopeful about the future of Judaism. I am absolutely hopeful about the future of Judaism. I do think I'm a very proud Reform Jew. I think in 50 years we're going to have liberal Judaism and Orthodox Judaism, and that's going to be it. I think that and that doesn't seem sad to me. That seems like, okay, that's probably where we're headed. I see a Judaism, and maybe this is just idealistic. I see a Judaism that is creative and meaningful and diverse, and ideally does not judge one Jew for the other for the way in which they practice or act in this world. That feels where people are discovering new ways where that person who has just joined our tribe is able to speak their voice and say like, hey, you guys have always done it this way, but like I think I have a really great way to do it. That's what I'm seeing in our congregation and what I'm really hopeful for the future of Judaism.
On that, by the way, if any of you did not hear Rabbi Fischel's sermon from last year, I think that also gives an interesting answer to this question. And you can find it. I know you're going to be hearing a ton of sermons in the next 12 days, but that one's worth going back and listening to. you can wait until after the holidays if you want, but it is worth listening to. So it's on the website. All the sermons from High Holidays are always put on the website. There's one last question, and what's interesting is I don't know how you're going to answer it. I don't really have an answer, which is if you weren't clergy, what would you be?
So when I was thinking about, not thinking, I knew I was going to go to rabbinical school, but when I first came up with the idea, I did what hopefully I think all future rabbinical students do, which is I went to my rabbi and sat in his office, and he asked me that question. He was like, if this doesn't work out, what would you do? And I sat there, and I was really stumped, and I was like, I don't know, man. Like, I think I'm putting all my eggs in this basket. Like I think I'm doing it. And he was like, right answer. I think that's the right answer. And I might open a challah bakery.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I would come there every day.
So actually, I would not do anything else. But if I had to, I'd open a challah bakery.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
That's all our questions.
Beautiful.
Great job, everyone.
Hey, that was
Thank
really
you.
fun. Thank you guys so much.